Biography of Luang Phor Tae, Wat Samangan, Nakon Patom. Luang Phor Tae is the most famous Kumon Thong maker of this century, although there are a few contenders, such as his protege and successor to the position of abbot of the Temple of Wat Samangan, Luang Phor Yam. Nevertheless, both masters enjoy massive popularity with their Kumon Thong statues and amulets, which have become popular in many countries, such as Malaysia, Singapore, China, Hong Kong, and many others. Luang Phor Tae was born on 15 May 1891 in Ban Samangan. Luang Phor Tae had 7 brothers and sisters, of which he was the 5th-born child. When the young Luang Phor Tae was 7, he met his uncle Luang Phor Deng from Wat Ka Long, who had visited his relatives in the village. Luang Phor Deng suggested young Tae go to his resided temple to get educated there. He can also learn some field of knowledge that deals with non-physical of all kinds with him. The young Luang Phor Tae spent 3 years learning with his uncle. Finally, he could read and write Khmer Sanskrit, and make sacred yantra, spells, and the psychic practices involved for 3 years before he returned home at the age of 10 to his hometown. When he reached the age of 15 years old, he returned to Wat Kalong and was ordained as a novice monk. He studied the Vinaya, the Buddhist canon of laws for ordained bhikkhus, with his uncle. He also helped Luang Phor Deng build the new temple and assisted in many other areas of merit-making. Luang Phor Deng began to teach Luang Phor Tae Buddha magic, and Luang Phor Tae started a trajectory to lead him to legendary status. Finally, in 1911, Luang Phor Tae reached the age of 21 and thus underwent the transformation ceremony to become a fully fledged bhikkhu, a monk in the Buddhist faith. His ordaining officer was Luang Phor Tae from Wat Panang Tak, a Wicca, supernatural magic master. Later, Luang Phor Tae was given the monkhood name of Kong Thong. With his studies, Luang Phor Tae became a close disciple of Luang Phor Tae of Wat Panyang Tak and continued his research and practice of Dhamma and Wicca with him. However, after some time, his uncle Luang Phor Deng passed away. Before his death, Luang Phor Tae was tasked with helping and overseeing Wat Samangam. Luang Phor Tae began to perform the Tu Dong pilgrimage, forest wandering, between 1912 to 1934, a period of 22 years. During this period, Luang Phor Tae continued seeking knowledge and Wicca Akam. He did not just achieve Wicca from Luang Phor Tae and Luang Phor Deng during his travels, he found many other masters to teach him magic spells and methods. He learned with Luang Phor Cham of Wat Takong, a Cambodian guru. After this, he continued his Tu Dong wander around the country and received teachings from other masters wherever he went. He even had a lay teacher, an ex-Khmer general, and Luang Phor Tae greatly respected him. In those times, Luang Phor Tae would perform Wai Karu Khmer regularly and without fail. After receiving all the teachings from this master, he returned to Wat Samangan. Initially, Wat Samangan was neglected, and he was responsible for working harder to rebuild the whole temple building to fulfill his uncle's wishes. As a result, Luang Phor Tae did not only develop and expand the temple of Wat Samangan, but he also managed to build a hospital, schools, and other projects. Luang Phor Tae was a monk with an extreme amount of metta-compassion and mercy. He would offer the same affection to all disciples who came, regardless of status or financial standing, without any prejudice towards one or against another. Apart from this, he was always kind to animals and pets. Before he ate his daily meal, he would always feed the animals first. In 1932, Luang Phor Tae was officially elected abbot of Wat Samangan, and in 1933, he became the regional director of 5 temples under him. Luang Phor made several different kinds of amulets and objects of worship. In the Second World War, all of the other charms he made saw cases of miracles happening and life-saving experiences. His amulets were never renowned for their aesthetic beauty, but their magical power was intense. Luang Phor Tae created amulets with auspicious and sacred materials for people to carry with them for protection. Although Luang Phor Tae amulets are world famous for invincibility, loving-kindness, compassion, and attracting wealth, but he never wants people to replace it with magic powers. He would often teach about this and say, the thing with magic is that it isn't permanent, you can have it, and it can also go off. For example, Invincibility worked to the full extent, everybody who had it would die, so in the end, even the invincibility magic will have to fail you. His invincible items were made from clay, sacred herbal powder, and magical power, which he collected from holy or mighty places. But, on the other hand, we can abide in the magic for a time, and if we keep our precepts and don't abuse the magic, until the time comes when it is needed, it will probably not fail us. But we cannot depend on it forever. The only thing which remains forever and always is the Dharma and nothing else. Among the ingredients from the Luang Phor Tae amulet used are, earth from 7 salt licks, earth from 7 cemeteries, and the residue in the dust from crabs, which forms balls on the sand. However, his most famous and popular magical object and statue is called Kuman Thong. He used the ancient method Luang Phor Deng taught, giving the figures to the villagers and locals to protect and help them in their homesteads. He would mix the sacred mixture into a long clay stick and lay it down. Then, when he performed magic spells with mantra and embedded it in the clay, he would chant and force his psychic power into it until the clay stick would rise and stand up on its own accord, the original traditional method for making Kuman Thong figures. Many people who received statues from Luang Phor Tae came to tell tales of amazing things happening, and the Kuman Thong of Luang Phor Tae entered the annals of legend. In the year 1962, Luang Phor Tae was to make yet another edition of amulets using sacred clay to celebrate his 50th year as a bhikkhu. He added broken pieces of religious material items into the mixture in this set of charms. This made the amulet very smooth when worn and absorbed sweat from the wearer. In those days, people did not have plastic covers on the amulet cases, instead left the amulet touching the skin to absorb magic. The charms had a very ancient look even when they were just made. Luang Phor Tae passed away on 25 December 1981 at the age of 80. His body is currently preserved and placed on display for the disciples of Wat Summon to pay reverence, and to gain blessings and inspiration from the Master. The offerings items to be prepared for Luang Phor Tae are as follows: tea, betel leaves, tobacco, green tangerine, mackerel fish curry with coconut milk, Brand's essence of chicken. Smoking only tobacco leaves and tobacco. The following katha is for worshipping Reverend Luang Phor Tae's statue and amulet. When chanting, concentrate on the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, and Luang Phor Tae. Now let us chant the preliminary prayer. Before chanting to any Thai Buddhist statue or amulet, first, chant 3 times of this initial mantra. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
อิมินาสักกาเลนะคังคะสุวรรณัตตะเทรังอหังปูเชมิเตนะสัทธานุภาเวนะลาโพเมโหตุสัพพะทาอิมินาสักกาเลนะคังคะสุวรรณัตตะเทรังอหังปูเชมิเตนะสัทธานุภาเวนะลาโพเมโหตุสัพพะทาอิมินาสักกาเลนะคังคะสุวรรณัตตะเทรังอหังปูเชมิเตนะสัทธานุภาเวนะลาโพเมโหตุสัพพะทา
The following katha is for Sam Huang Takrut, by Reverend Luang Phor Tae.
อุทธังอัตโธปัตนะนะโมพุทธายะนะแขวโมคลาดพุทธปัตทาปิดยะมิถูกนะสันตลันโตจิตโสอิกะวิติภาอุทธังอัตโธปัตนะนะโมพุทธายะนะแขวโมคลาดพุทธปัตทาปิดยะมิถูกนะสันตลันโตจิตโสอิกะวิติภาอุทธังอัตโธปัตนะนะโมพุทธายะนะแขวโมคลาดพุทธปัตทาปิดยะมิถูกนะสันตลันโตจิตโส So-it-ka-wi-ti-pah.
How to use Sam Huang Takrut as a weapon. First, when fighting, pull the takrud to the front of your waist. Second, when fleeing, put the takrud to the back of your waist. Third, use to approach women. Swipe the takrud on the left side. Fourth, use it as a mercy for the boss. Swipe the takrud on the right side. Katha for Pra Kun Peng Amulet by Reverend Luang Phor Tae. First, recite Namos 3 times. Then think of Luang Phor Tae and recite the following Katha.
สุนะโมโลนะโมพุทธายะเอหิมะมะสุนะโมโลโมโลสุนะนะโมพุทธายะนะมะพะทะนะมามิหังสุนะโมโลนะโมพุทธายะเอหิมะมะสุนะโมโลโมโลสุนะนะโมพุทธายะนะมะพะทะนะมามิหังสุนะโมโลนะโมพุทธายะเอหิมะมะสุนะโมโลโมโลสุนะนะโมพุทธายะนะมะพะทะนะมามิหัง
It is said that there are tips for using the Pra Kun Peng amulet created by Reverend Luang Phor Tae. If used to flirt with young women, there are cool features. You have to hang the amulet upside down and place the Buddha's base on the top, with the head facing downward. A unique loop must be made under the bottom. Please keep it for hanging upside down if the wearer encounters a party of eye-catching young women. Try to do this, the women will smile with you when you look at them, even if you do not smile or know them.